Hi, I'm Linda of Smile Inside Holistic Therapies. I'm also a teacher of the holistic therapies that I practice, and I'm also author of the book Wakey Wake Up, Rise and Shine. Now, the book chronicles my recovery following heart failure, heart attack last year, and at that point I had to stop drinking alcohol, and I also had to address anything that caused me anxiety or worry because I needed to give my heart a chance to repair. Being a holistic practitioner, I knew I needed certain pharmaceuticals, which I really didn't want to take, and I wanted to get off them as quickly as I could. And the only way that I could do that was by addressing those things that set my heart off into a state of anger, frustration, upset, anxiety, worry, panic, whatever. I never thought that I was that kind of person anyway. But it's amazing when you can't drink, when you're told that you can't drink anymore, when you're told that you can't have a cigarette anymore or a joint or whatever you do to calm you down, when those things are taken away from you overnight and you have to face up to reality, you have to face up to the triggers and deal with them. Otherwise, there was every danger and every possibility that I would have a recurrence, which there was no way I wanted to happen. But also, I didn't want to stay on the pharmaceuticals that, in my view, numbed my system to the triggers. To my mind, if something was making me anxious, that indicated that something needed to change, not that I had to take a pharmaceutical so that I just didn't care anymore, man. So, this is all chronicled in my book. This is the reason I wrote my book, was so that I could empower other people on their journey if anything came down their way, along their path, that meant they had to change their ways, or indeed if you're suffering from anxiety, panic attacks, and so forth. And what did I find out? Okay, so what I discovered is if you are anxious, worried, panicked, stressed, then something in your life needs to change. It is that simple. If you cannot change that something, then you need to change the way that you react to it. And it's not an overnight thing, but you'll be amazed at how quickly you can do that, how you reprogram yourself. In my book, I mention that it's a chemical thing as much as anything, because we've got hormones in our body, adrenaline, cortisol, and so forth. So if something triggers us, those hormones surge into our body and we cannot help but react. We cannot help but be angry or stressed or go off on one. Yeah. So what we need to do is get a grip of those hormones in the first place and go, right, no, I'm in control here. And if this situation comes back around, I'm going to decide how I deal with it differently. And you basically plan how you'll deal with it differently, so that when it comes around, you go, aha, and you behave in that alternative way, which doesn't send out those stress hormones. Now, it'll take a few occurrences, a few times of this happening before you nail it, because the hormones are used to going out there. So they've done it before you've even recognised it. Our body's very amazing. So I suppose the idea is that, if you're getting charged by a raging bull, you haven't gone, okay, should I send adrenaline out or not? You just send it out and leg it, So we have to unprogram ourselves, not from raging bulls, but certainly from somebody who might be, I don't know, somebody who might be insensitive, or somebody who, or some comment on Facebook that really gets you that kind of groove. You have to unprogram yourself. And in doing that, you unprogram your hormones as well. So it's all a question of mindfulness. You have to make yourself aware of what your triggers are. For anybody who's gone through the menopause, or anybody who just gets tetchy anyway, the hot flushes that come along with that, in my mind, they are the body's barometer to tell you don't like that situation. So you've got to change it, honey. It's that simple. Okay, now this goes for men as well. You might not get hot flushes, but we all get anxiety. We can all get suddenly bursts of anger or fear where our boundaries have been breached. And so we have to decide how we would rather deal with it. Okay, do we deal with it with compassion? Do we deal with it with understanding? Do we deal with it by turning around and walking away? Do we deal with it by thinking of a different way of vocalizing how we feel? Do we vocalize it by saying to the person, actually, you've misunderstood. That's not what I meant, but I think that's what might be alive inside of you, because if that's how you've interpreted it, that's not how I meant it. There are many different ways. One of the things that you must do, though, is acknowledge your anxiety. Acknowledge what happens when a certain event happens. And when you get anxious, worried, panic, what's just made that happen? And change it. You know, you've got to change it. If you put up with it, you're accepting it. You are telling the universe that this event is acceptable. None of this is an overnight process. It takes practice, just like training for a marathon, just like learning a new skill on a course. This is a new skill for you, and this is your own course on how to do that, okay? And it's amazing. It makes such a profound difference. I used to fly off the handle. Whoosh! Not at the slightest thing. I did in my 20s. Very fiery Leo, fire horse Leo at that. And so I used to have hissy fits, temper tantrums, go off on one and then calm right down as if nothing had happened. But as the years tick by, you realise that, especially when your heart is in a state of repair, and you realise that even that whoosh is going to put such a surge of adrenaline through your system. And did you know that, I think, 10 minutes of anger takes your immune system down for 6 hours. Okay, so in this present global situation and climate, the last thing you want to do is take your immune system down. You need that firing on full power. All power to, it's like Starship Enterprise, send all power to the immune system. That's what you need right now. You don't need to be getting angry, fearful. Dismiss fear. Know your truth. Be in touch with your truth. Know that you are safe. And we can work on different ways of doing that, through Reiki, through the balance procedure, through meditations, through using crystals. So many different alternative ways which are so easy to do and don't have to cost you anything, or very little in order to gain the wisdom and the knowledge. So what can cause you anxiety? You have your own personal triggers, personal to you. If something makes you angry, that's a sign from the universe that you need to change the way that you react to it. If somebody is making you angry, you can't change them. This is their journey. This is their life. All you can do is change the way that you react to it. And you have the power to do that. And trust me, it is phenomenal when you start to get there, when you start to realise, do you know what? A few months ago, I'd have hit the roof about that. And now I'm not. I'm going, okay. So this is a situation. I tell you what, I'll deal with it like this instead. And you stay calm throughout the whole process. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. So you must decide, you must prepare, you must recognise those triggers, prepare your mind, yourself, your body, how to react to those. If it's an avoidable situation, avoid it. If it's not an avoidable situation, change the way you deal with it. Now is the time for change, for you to heighten your vibration, because believe you me, when you find it in yourself to deal with it in a different way, it takes that anxiety, that stress and that worry away from you. And that in itself heightens your vibration and makes you so much happier as a person. It's great. I've been in relationships where they've been unpredictable. The person has been unpredictable, and that in itself was an anxiety. I was on a constant state of amber alert, waiting for them to have a mood swing, or be overly challenging, shall we say? And I realised one day, it's like, hold on a minute. Why am I doing this? Why am I still in this situation? Yes, the highs are incredible, but the lows, no. So I started to say, this is not acceptable behaviour. I do not accept this into my world. To a certain extent, they did change. I changed the way that I dealt with it by saying that. I wasn't enlightened enough at that point to realise that I could change the way that I reacted to it. I'd stay calm, I'd stay calm, I'd stay calm, I'd stay calm for months, and then whoosh! So I removed myself from the situation in the end. I did everything I could for me, but when the situation kept coming back around, it was time just to exit. And sometimes it's just time to exit that situation. So, what else can cause you anxiety and worry? So, be mindful. That's down to you. The other thing that can cause you, one of the other things that can cause you anxiety and worry, is an imbalance in your gut flora. We have three brains. The same cells that are in our brain are also in our hearts, and they are also in our gut. And so these three brains are constantly receiving messages from us, and they're constantly receiving messages. And if something doesn't feel right, it can get to the gut, can't it? Our gut feel. Now, our gut flora, if that is out of balance, if we're putting the wrong foods in there, like too much sugar, for example, which includes alcohol has such a high sugar content, you know. So, if you have an imbalance in your gut flora, and if you take a lot of sugar or have a few glasses of wine every day, that is 100% guaranteed you have an imbalance in your gut flora, unless you are doing something about that by taking probiotics, or having some kind of probiotic drink, or what's it called? Not sauerkraut, the other thing, kombucha, and yeah, it's sauerkraut, isn't it? It's sauerkraut that's the natural fermented probiotic. Unless you're doing something, your gut flora is out of balance. Now, quite a while ago, I had a client, a Reiki and Indian head massage client, and she came to me with extreme anxiety. She was sat on the table, stood lying down on the table, shaking from head to foot, literally like so, with her hands up here, while I worked on her with Reiki. And although the Reiki and Indian head massage did work a lot, what I discovered was that during the time that I was treating her, I discovered that the gut flora, if that's out of balance, that causes anxiety. Isn't that amazing? And all you've got to do is address the gut flora in your gut for that state of anxiety to lift. And so I convinced her. It took some doing because she wasn't convinced to start with. So it took several months actually to convince her to change from her normal brand of yogurt to a probiotic yogurt. And the difference was astonishing. She came out of that state. She was much calmer. She was much happier. She would be delighted and excited every time she told me that she'd achieved something new and challenging that she hadn't been able to do a year ago. She was delighted. It was so rewarding to see. That's a gut flora thing. Other thing, got to listen to your heart, man. If something doesn't feel right, you've got to listen to your heart. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. If you're in a state of anxiety, pessimism, boredom, you're looking on the dark side, if you're malcontent, if there's anything other than joy, optimism, enthusiasm going on in your life in general or on a given situation, then it needs to change, and that change has to come from you. Okay, so that's one of the things, is listen to your gut. Make sure that you're putting good nutrients into your body, and if you are overloading on sugar and you don't want to reduce that for whatever reason, then at least give your body the gut flora that it needs with probiotics of one description or another. Okay, now the other aspect that can cause you stress, worry, anxiety, panic attacks is what you're putting into your body in general. So smoking, sorry, I'm sounding really puritanical here, aren't I? That's because I had to give it all up, but actually I'm really grateful I did. And alcohol, social drugs, foods that you are intolerant to with your body as well, maybe too acidic, for example. If your body is not in a healthy state, then or you're filling it with toxins, and let's face it, these are all toxins. Even a food that you are intolerant to is a toxin to your body. The person sat next to you, no problem at all. You, on the other hand, if it's a toxin, that stresses your body. Okay, and stress hormones will start to come out, the cortisol, because you're stressing your body with too much alcohol. or with, like I say, look, with smoking with nicotine and stuff like that, or too much coffee, that kind of groove. Anything that you perceive as fun could actually be stressing your body and making you store body fat. Okay, because the cortisol puts your body into a state of stress, and then your body holds on to the body fat, to the fat. It's that simple. So you have to be mindful not just of your thoughts, but also of your intake, what you're taking in to your body. With that in mind, you also need to be aware of EMFs, so electromagnetic frequencies. Too much time on your phone, on your tablet, in front of the TV, on the internet, in front of your computer, all of that kind of stuff, that will stress the body. Without getting political, this is one of the major fears about 5G, is that it will stress our bodies because it is so incompatible with us. I haven't done enough research on it. That's just a snapshot of what I've heard, okay? So protect yourself from EMFs, which you can do with crystals like shungite or black tourmaline or pyrite, okay? So be mindful of that. Perhaps limit your time or protect yourself with something like I've just mentioned, one of the crystals that I've just mentioned. Now, if you're prone to blowing a circuit, you personally, it doesn't take much to make you hit the roof. Why could that be? Why does that one thing always send you off there? Why are you always going off over the top? It could be because, here's my theory. So, this is when we have a meltdown, yeah? Well, this threshold. This is our stress threshold, okay? Now, if, kids are messing about, so that happens. Trouble at work, that happens. Somebody disagrees with you and puts an angry Facebook post up, that happens. And it goes up and up and up until you get to here. And then the slightest thing, because you've reached your stress threshold, kapow, okay? Now, unless you're doing something mindfully every day, or frequently, should we say, to bring that stress down. If you're drinking every day, you're up here. If you're smoking every day, you're up here. If you're having loads of coffee every day, you're up here. If you're tired and you're not getting enough rest, you're up here, man. You've got to bring those stress levels down so that when you do experience a stressful event, you only go up to here. But then you do your practices, whether it be meditating, dancing, singing, whatever flicks your switch, whether it be yoga, qigong, whether it be going out for a run, whatever de-stresses you, you must do it to bring your stress threshold down. If you're not doing anything to bring your stress threshold down, then you are constantly going to be going bang, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Having a drink, having a cigarette is not bringing your stresses down. It is stressing your body, okay? So it's up to you how much of that you take on board. The odd glass of wine might not be a problem. 5 or 6 a night, I would say you're stressing your body out. And you're putting more sugar into your body, which can cause inflammation. So your body is then going to have to fight the inflammation. It's using energy on that instead of being healthy and being creative and having fun and feeling joy. Instead, your body feels dreadful because it's constantly trying to repair itself from the toxins that you're putting in. Okay, I'm not lecturing, I promise you, I'm not lecturing. This is all kind of stuff. This is all stuff that I've discovered, and this is why I wrote this book, to empower other people, not to make mistakes that I made and have a heart attack and heart failure. So we have to be mindful. You know those circling thoughts that go on and on and on in your mind? They keep coming back, they keep coming back, they keep coming back, they keep coming back, and you drive yourself mad with them. All it takes is a back flower remedy to do it, to change that, A few drops of a botanical tincture, which I do, by the way. Get in touch. But you can buy them over the counter. You can buy them on Amazon, Check out my website, smileinside.co.uk, and go to the Back Flower Remedy page if you want to buy them individually for yourself. There's a whole list there of each of the emotional states which, when imbalanced, causes our body dis-ease, disease. There's the connection, clues in the name. And then you can start to bring your stress levels down, because you will stop those circling thoughts that go round and round and round and driving yourself mad, and quite probably those around you as well. Okay, we have to take responsibility for our own well-being. If you're taking a tablet, even if it's a holistic one, holistic is great. Pharmaceutical, I'd rather not, but there are moments, I agree, they kept me alive. There are moments where it's gone too far and we need help now. Okay, so if we're having to take anything, there is still something that needs to be addressed up here. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, if you can, go with the natural ways, like rescue remedy, for example, to bring those stress thresholds down, to bring those stress levels down. But actually, there are changes that need to be made in your world in order to bring those levels down in the first place, so that they don't keep recurring. Okay, unless you deal with it in your mind through mindfulness, recognizing your triggers, recognizing your stresses, recognizing what causes you panic attacks, recognizing what is wrong in your world and changing it, unless you do that, it will never change. You can pop the tablets as much as you like. My own theory, why is suicide one of the side effects, suicide and self-harm, why are they side effects of antidepressants? And my theory, and that of some of my peers, is that that's because you're not addressing what's causing you stress and anxiety and panic and worry. Your intuition is saying, no, 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 that's not right. That's not right for you. And instead of you changing that, you're taking a tablet that numbs your mind, your body, your systems. It is telling you, your body is screaming at you, something needs to change, something needs to change, something needs to change. And you're popping a pill and pretending that all is fine. So this is why I'm saying that herbal is better, because it's natural. But actually, whilst you're still having to take the herbal equivalent of beta blockers, of antidepressants, of anything like that, of even anything for your gut as well, you know, your gut, your heart, your brain. If you're having to take anything herbal to calm, stabilize, level yourself, you've still got work to do. You've got work to do. Okay, and it's hard work, but boy is it worth it, because suddenly you don't need as much of that medication, herbal or pharmaceutical perhaps. Suddenly you get it. You get the lesson that life has been trying to get through to you by telling you through anxiety and panic and worry and stress, and you suddenly get it and go, oh my God, why have I not seen this before? Why am I still behaving the same way? Why am I still pointing the finger at that person and that person and that person, and telling myself that it's their fault that I'm angry, or their fault that I'm stressed, or their fault that this has happened, and their fault? No, 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 no. You have a choice on how you react. And it's up to you to decide to make that change, decide how you would rather react, and then do it and practice it and keep doing it until suddenly that doesn't cause you anxiety, stress, worry, panic anymore. Yeah? It really is incredible. And this is why I say that the heart failure, the heart attack saved my life, because this is the kind of insight that I got during my research. And I was like, how have I never seen this? Why have I been saying it's their fault? It's their fault. You've made me angry. How am I supposed to react when you've done that? No, 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 no. I still get angry occasionally, but boy, it is like 1% of how much angry I used to get, how much anger I used to experience, you know. And it's not like I was an angry, hysterical person or anything. A little bit hyper at times, or most of the time, as you could probably tell. But I didn't get so angry anymore, because I've been practicing Reiki, I've been practicing the balance procedure, I use crystals, I use all sorts of alternative methods. I've been doing yoga a lot, up until the heart failure, and then I just couldn't do it. I had no physical strength whatsoever. Trust me, you do not want to go through a heart attack and heart failure. Trust me on that. It takes your life away for quite a while you're repairing. I had zero physical strength. I couldn't even sit at my computer for more than an hour, and I was doing freelance medical secretarial work at the time. And before the heart failure and heart attack, I would sit there for 5 hours and go for it and get the clinics done. I couldn't even sit there for 1 hour without my chest hurting, without my arms aching, without me feeling like lead. Do not go that far, people. Trust me. So, is there anything else I wanted to say about anxiety, worry, fear? Mindfulness, yes. When you know that you've got triggers, have something ready in your mind so that when you start to stress about something, you start getting that circling thought in your head that drives you mad, drives you to distraction, which the back flower remedies will help you with, BACH. And what you can do is, if you've got it's like having a virtual pocket full of lovely things to think about, and you can pull something out of that pocket and think about sunflowers or unicorns, rainbows, that's my world, cats, waterfalls, but whatever makes you happy, your children, your animals, what countryside, what in nature makes you feel good, that's all part of it. And that's something that you can grab at any time and pull into your head. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about as well is breathing. Breathing, oh so important. If your body is stressed, the best thing you can do is breathe deeply. In for the count of 5, hold for the count of 5, and out for the count of 10 if you can. Now, you have to work with your own individual body on this one. In doing that, you will stimulate your vagal nerve, which goes up and down through your organs, from your brain down through your heart and down through your body. And this in itself brings a state of relaxation. It takes you out of fight or flight. It slows your heart down. It releases happy hormones, for want of a better expression, into your body. And that in itself will bring you into a state of relaxation and out of fight or flight. Now, if you've gone into full-on panic mode, that might be quite tricky to achieve, yeah? Just work on it. Just work on it. Practice it when you're not in a state of panic. Do it so that you know what you're doing, because this vagal nerve stimulation is so important. It is incredibly rebalancing. It is only breathing. To my mind, and I am not getting political here, this is where wearing masks at the moment is so bad for our emotional well-being, because we need to be able to breathe in that air, breathe out the carbon dioxide, breathe in nice and deeply, breathe out nice and deeply, not through fibres that are going to bung up our systems basically, and re-inhale the waste products that we've breathed out, re-inhale the carbon dioxide. I promise you I'm not getting political here. This is purely an oxygenation thing. So when it is safe in your mind for you to do so, then give yourself the opportunity to breathe deeply, slowly, fill your body up with that oxygen, stimulate that vagal nerve, bring your body into a state of relaxation. You can do this through meditation. I've got a meditation video on here on YouTube at the moment. I'll be doing more as time goes on. It's having the time and the inclination at the right time, but it's everything that I'm hoping to do. I can teach you Reiki. I can teach you the balance procedure. I can do that online. Yeah, we can do that via Zoom. No problem at all. Both of which can make an astonishing difference to your fight and flight, stress, relaxation mode. They are beautiful practices, really easy, really private and personal to you. I'm doing them for a reduced price at the moment. Where are we now? We are the 17th of September 2020. No idea how long the prices will be low, but certainly for now, I feel that is a really fabulous way forward. But I hope, even if you choose not to do Reiki, the balance procedure, meditate. I'm hoping that what the insights that I've given you thus far will be really beneficial for you and will bring you into a state of relaxation. And so you can then cope with life. You won't just cope with life, you will fly, man. Because when you're not in a state of anxiety, stress, panic, worry, when you're not using the energy, because we've only got so much processor power, like any computer, tablet, phone, there's only so much processor power that our body has. And if you're using that on stress, worry, anxiety, panic, then you're not using it on creativity, on joy, on manifesting your wildest dreams. If you're in a state of confusion, which I see is happening, and fear, I see that all around me at the moment, on Facebook, in people around me, in the streets, so much fear, people scowling at me, if I'm not wearing a mask in certain situations. And I'm thinking, well, I don't need to wear a mask. I don't want to wear a mask for whatever reason, It's not about wearing a mask. This is about fight or flight, stress, panic, worry, fear. You have control. Use it. Step into your power. Own it. And tell yourself, whenever you feel yourself going into fight or flight, panic, worry, anxiety, stress, tell yourself, no, I've got this. I am in control here, and I can bring myself out of that state and into relaxation mode. And you do one of the techniques that I've told you, that I've enlightened you with. You make those changes, you listen to your intuition, and if your intuition says, don't do this, do that, then do it. Okay. I hope that's been enlightening for you. And shameless plug once again, because I really am passionate about my book. I am so passionate. You can get it on Amazon. Wakey Wake Up, Rise and Shine. I have put my heart and my soul into it, not just because it was therapeutic for me and it empowered me to see things differently, but because I wanted to share those messages with you and empower you to live an enlightened life and be full of joy. So namaste. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video. Please comment. Please share. Let's get the world out there feeling full of joy and happiness. Bye for now.